Hello and welcome back to No Bullshit. Today I'm here to talk about the latest video game release from Square Enix called Kingdom Hearts 3. This long-awaited sequel has been garnering a lot of hype around the internet lately, and while there are no big radical SJW controversies with this one so far, there were a few interesting things about the game I did want to go over and share with you guys. Particularly, while playing the first couple hours myself, I noticed that a number of the main characters were actually voiced by big conservatives from Hollywood, specifically James Woods, the legendary actor, genius, and avid Twitter personality. He was in the game right away, in one of the first worlds. But next comes the problem. You see, I thought there was another big conservative actor in this too, early on. The third or fourth world you reach is based on the movie Toy Story, which got me pretty pumped because not only do I love that film, of course, but also one of its main characters is voiced by Tim Allen, another badass conservative-leaning guy in Hollywood. The thing is though, although this character sounds like Tim Allen still, it turns out it's actually another actor doing a pretty decent Tim Allen impression. Sucks they liked Allen's voice and character enough to put him in the game, but they couldn't get the actual legend himself to do the voice work. And while it's possible Tim could have turned down the gig himself, I actually think there's a more sneaky, politically motivated reason they kept him out of Kingdom Hearts 3. So, with all that said, we'll get to more details about these conservative voices in the game soon, while also going over some of the other actors and a summary of the game, and my first impressions about it. A lot to go over today, so before we get to why Tim Allen was left out of this, let's first talk about Kingdom Hearts 3 and what this game even is in the first place. According to Wikipedia, Kingdom Hearts 3 is an action role-playing game developed and published by Square Enix for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. It is the 12th installment in the Kingdom Hearts series, and a sequel to Kingdom Hearts 2, and the final chapter in the Dark Seeker saga. Now, that may still sound very confusing, so let me explain more. I know newcomers to the franchise might not know what the hell is going on. I'm a newcomer myself, and I was super confused in the beginning, so I'll just go ahead and give it to you straight and simple here, and spell out how I see it so far. Kingdom Hearts is basically a big crossover game between Disney and Square Enix. Disney, of course, is known for its beloved movies, animation, and theme parks and musicals, and Square Enix is a video game production company, mostly known for its role-playing game series, Final Fantasy. So, essentially, when you play Kingdom Hearts, this new game, it mixes Final Fantasy-type characters with their own signature Japanese-style animation, and they're all interacting with Disney characters, all with their own varying styles of signature animations themselves. And all of this comes together in a pretty crazy, massive crossover-style video game universe. Anime characters interacting with Donald Duck and Goofy, for example, and all of them landing on a planet based on the movie Frozen, say. Stuff like that is what happens in Kingdom Hearts all the time, so if you're a fan, this new edition is very badass. And it's kind of like the biggest crossover event since Avengers Infinity War from last year. There are some downsides to Kingdom Hearts though. This may be a personal preference, but I certainly felt like the game was a little over the top and self-important. Way too many cutscenes that were way too long too, and it's also overly dramatic as hell. Not to mention things get really confusing right away, especially if you're not totally caught up on the 12-game, 17-year-long saga. Regardless, when things do get moving, the gameplay is really fun. It's not your standard JRPG style Final Fantasy games are usually set in. No, Kingdom Hearts uses a more hack and slash style that's more accessible, and it also has lots of power-ups and customization you can add later on. Oh, and there's also lots of cool weapons and special attacks too. It gets really crazy when you get way into it as well. One of the cool new features is the attraction attacks. If you hit the right button when prompted to in a fight, your character can summon up a variety of different attractions, which are based on actual amusement park rides from Disneyland, the theme park. There's the pirate ship, teacups, and water rides and everything. All kinds of cool stuff. And this part also reminds me of how incredible the graphics and animations are in this game. Kingdom Hearts is really top-notch for sure. And if you're a hardcore fan who's been waiting for this story arc to finally end, I'm sure you'll really love this one. But if you're new, you may want to skip a cutscene or two, or at least do some research on Google to see what the hell's going on with this story. I know I have to check up on things once in a while, so I just pause the game and see what the hell the people are talking about. Okay, great. Now that we got that introduction out of the way, let's jump back into the game's cast and the voices, particularly the two conservative voices I noticed in the game very early on. It got me pretty excited, but then a little bummed out when I realized one actor was replaced, as I said before. And we'll go over why this happened to Tim Allen soon too, but first, let's start from the beginning. Mild spoilers ahead too. I'm not going to give away much, really, just enough to describe who these characters were and how they wound up in the game. I'm also only about 5 hours into the game, so this is just a very cursory introductory recap of things that happened in the beginning. No major game-ending spoilers here for sure, just some of the intro stuff so you know what's going on. Things start off with your main character named Sora. He's a Final Fantasy type character here, and he's voiced by a former child star, Haley Joel Osment, who's admittedly been making a great comeback in recent years. Glad Glad to see Osmond is doing so well on this project too. But anyways, Sora, the character, he starts off by reuniting with his original team, consisting of Goofy, Donald Duck, and Jiminy Cricket. They set out on a mission to get Sora his lost powers back, which leads them to the first world of the game, Olympus, based on Mount Olympus, home of the Greek gods, according to legend at least. And this is also, of course, the setting for the 1997 Disney animated feature Hercules. Sora eventually teams up with Herc too, who himself is fighting off a barrage of attacks from his own classic adversary, Hades, the god of the underworld. Hades is the brother of Zeus and Poseidon, which makes him an evil uncle to Hercules. And this Disney version is a fast-talking, ornery evil lord of the underworld, as well as a sleazy, persuasive Hollywood agent type, reminiscent of a car salesman. In all of Hades' appearances too, including Kingdom Hearts 3, Hades has been voiced by James Woods, our boy. The character's mannerisms and other tendencies were partly due to James Woods using car dealer style speech while providing the voice of Hades. Hades is described as mean and ruthless by the muses. His status as a god makes him immortal too, but not invincible, and it also likely makes him one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful Disney villain there is. He wears a dark robe with a skull-shaped peron, a pin used to fasten on a chiton around the body at the shoulder, and his hair is a glowing blue flame, which flares whenever he becomes enraged. And if he's excited, it stays blue, and if he's angry or frustrated, it turns yellow while his whole body turns red. James Woods himself has stated that Hades is one of his favorite roles in his career, and he will gladly reprise the role whenever asked. So it makes sense that Woods would return to play Hades here in Kingdom Hearts 3, and I have to admit, it makes me a little giddy and happy inside seeing him get such a significant appearance here, early on in such a high-profile video game that's probably going to sell many copies. Woods is not only a terrific actor, of course, whose performance as Hades is always excellent, but also, how can we forget, James Woods is a big conservative and an open supporter of President Donald J. Trump. Glad to see politics and PC culture didn't ruin this character or this role for the Kingdom Hearts trilogy, and it's very satisfying seeing Disney and Square Enix get this part right. But as I said about the game before, it has some really great moments, but it's certainly not perfect either, and that applies to the casting choices here too. Before we finally get to the Tim Allen part though, there's another missed opportunity worth mentioning here in the Mount Olympus Hercules section. I couldn't help but notice that there was one voice from the original movie that was absent in the Kingdom Hearts world. Hercules and Hades are there, and there's even Herc's love interest Smeg, who makes an appearance. But when Phil, Herc's trainer and mentor, appears, he was noticeably silent. I particularly noticed this because Phil's voice is by another actor I love, Danny DeVito. But for some reason, Kingdom Hearts didn't bring DeVito in to say anything for this scene. At least not anything I heard. Not sure if this was a political move either. I don't even know what DeVito's politics are actually, but I have my suspicions. I also suspect DeVito is not politically correct enough anymore. Not nowadays, since at this point, he's spent over 10 seasons making a fool of himself on the TV series It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, another classic. His appearances on that and the crude humor there may have gotten him kicked out of the Disney family. That, or maybe he just didn't have the time to give them dialogue and recorded these scenes. But either way, this was the first notable folly in the Kingdom Hearts 3 game, and it's where it really began to let me down too. That finally brings us to the Tim Allen portion of the story. As I said before, the third world that I went to in this game was based on Toy Story, so naturally the famous characters from there appeared, mainly including Woody, Buzz Lightyear, Rex, and Ham. Now, when I first found this out, I was super stoked again. This would seemingly mean that two of the big main characters early on here were conservative voices. Buzz even sounded like Tim Allen and everything, but come to find out, if you look up the actual cast, they replaced Tim Allen with some no-name who sounds just like him. Regardless though, you can still say this game loves conservative voices since Allen's voice is still there in spirit, but this begs the question, why wasn't this original actor brought in for the game? Well, there are lots of reasons this could have happened. Could have been a scheduling problem or a budget issue. Tim Allen could have even turned them down, but I doubt it. I really think this part was politically motivated. Tim Allen has been at odds with Disney for a while now, so I think them excluding him from this game and future endeavors does make sense. Hell, the Disney-owned TV station ABC just fired Tim Allen a few years ago for no good reason. In May 2017, ABC canceled Tim Allen's hit TV show, Last Man Standing, and many were shocked by this decision at this time. Just take a look at this image and I think it says it all. Liberal tolerance. Last Man Standing was the second highest rated comedy on ABC. It was the third highest rated scripted show on ABC. It was the only show on ABC for a conservative audience. Canceled by ABC after Tim Allen admitted he went to Trump's inauguration. Very interesting. So despite the show doing great and being well liked and making money, ABC still canceled it after Trump won the election, and Tim Allen came out supporting it. And if you want more proof that this show was canceled before its time, you gotta realize that since it went down, it was brought back on another channel, Fox. And and the show has been doing great there ever since. Perhaps this is another part of the reason Tim Allen isn't in Kingdom Hearts 2, or why he isn't in Kingdom Hearts 3 too, if you know what I mean. Firstly, Tim Allen was fired by Disney for being conservative, and then his show went on to be even more successful elsewhere, so Disney and ABC may have become bitter, scorned ex-lovers types, who really don't want to offer their ex another gig and more money, not after all this, not after he's doing better off without them. In the end, Kingdom Hearts 3 is a pretty cool game so far, and it's certainly a great culmination in a very large, expansive franchise. Hell, Kingdom Hearts has got franchises within its franchise, when you think about all the Disney properties that come up in it. And while it was great to see James Woods play one of his greatest characters ever again, it was also a little sad to see both Danny DeVito and Tim Allen not make it back this time, which was probably because of political, social justice warrior, anti-conservative reasons. Or maybe, hopefully, it could just be something else, but I still have my doubts. What do you guys think? Are you going to play Kingdom Hearts 3? What's your favorite Disney franchise, and what do you think about Tim Allen not being in this game? Was it because of his falling out with ABC after his show was canceled? Comment your thoughts on everything below, and thanks for watching No Bullshit. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you all next time.